not following through. I also have my email, which is an active email.
All right, the city's coming in right now. Des Moines Municipal Court now in session. Honorable Lisa Leon now presiding.
All right. Good morning, everyone. This is the Friday, July 14th, 8:30 score calendar. And Ms. Liu, who will we be starting with today?
Thank you, Your Honor. Maybe we can start actually with Mr. McIntyre, who's on the iPad. He's wearing red.
Okay. This is case 280675571. This is on for sentencing. Are we proceeding to sentencing today, Ms. Liu?
We are not, Your Honor. If I may, I talked with Mr. McIntyre. He also had a conversation with Ms. Stahl earlier. Both of us have some concerns. And so for that reason, I'm raising 1077 at this time. And I filled out an order in Oak Court.
Okay.
I don't need that. I've already spoke to my lawyer, and I was already the public defender that was already came to me. I don't need a competency hearing. I am very well aware of what I'm here for, just to basically follow up and to get resources. However, this is not the original public defender who I have spoken to. So there is the basic agreement already to let me be released, and I was going to, and still I'm going to be following up with any further court dates for which, if you give me any.
Do you understand?
I am very well. I have email. I'm en route to Spokane, actually. However, I am going to be following up with any court dates that you assign me from here. I was already told I could be released yesterday, and basically I don't have any holds on me as far as anything else goes. I've been very thoroughly, wrongfully traumatized by police here in your territory, and it doesn't matter. It's okay. I'm not going to discuss that. I would just like to let you know I've pled not guilty, and I just want to.
Do you understand what you're here for today?
What was it that you were having me here for, ma'am?
Well, you previously pled guilty to assault in the fourth degree.
That's it's a wrongful arrest, but it's okay. I'll accept it because basically, yes, that's okay. I did not assault anybody, but I had people that would follow me around, lawyers, blah, blah, blah. I just pled guilty. I adopted that statement as my own. And so basically I'm very just really under the weather. No, not really. I'm just really upset, very extremely upset. And I'm okay to talk to you and to basically follow up with the failure to appear.
Okay, give me a moment. Let me talk to your attorney, Mr. McIntyre. Thank you for answering my questions. Ms. Liu, can you describe in a little more detail some of the issues that you were having?
Thank you. The issues that Ms. Stahl let me know that she had yesterday, or not yesterday, the last time she spoke with him, had to do with getting off topic and talking about some essentially some theories that kind of was worrying her. When I spoke with him today, the difficulty I had was about remaining on topic. I think out the gate he was...
Mental health resources, man.
Okay, sir, it's my turn now.
Resources.
And so I was getting a little bit concerned.
That's what I'm going to reach out for before I am released.
Is mental health resources. Were you connected with services before, Mr. McIntyre?
I plan to get connected with resources, yes.
Have you ever had an official diagnosis of any type?
Bipolar disorder, bipolar type 2.
Were you previously on any medications for that?
Yes, but I'm going to be getting back on my medications after I get released. I do not need to get on any medications while I'm in custody here in this jail. I just want to get released. I'm extremely upset, and I feel that I have a very, very legitimate reason to be upset. So it's okay though, ma'am. I will not. You are not in any danger. Everybody's okay. I'm not.
No, I needed to talk to you to kind of work through this.
Yeah, there's something for one of the local resources here. However, I will get dialed into any of them after I leave. So I'll let you speak. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. I mean, Ms. Liu, he seems to have an understanding of what's going on here. I tend to agree with him that some of what he's talking about in terms of what's troubling him is understandable. I feel like he does have a diagnosis that may be unmedicated, but do you know what Ms. Liu's role is today? I know you may not have met with her before, but do you know what she does?
She's a public defender. I don't want to be sarcastic or rude at all. So,
yes, that's best if you don't.
But yeah, I understand already that, like, what you guys are, as far as, excuse me, I just want to be.
Okay, let me talk to the attorneys one more time.
Yeah, and I understand that there was an agreement already prior to this that I was going to be released, which I was released yesterday. However, I've been up all night in this jail cell. So I apologize if I seem a little bit edgy, but
that's okay. That's okay.
I wanted to make sure you guys have my email.
Okay.
Both my emails.
Give me a moment.
Okay.
Give me a moment.
Your Honor, I've outlined the other concerns I have. I put them into the 1077. I can read them out loud into the record if that's helpful.
Let me pull it up real quick.
And obviously, you know, I appreciate the court making its own inquiry as well. I don't mind at all.
So I plan to get resources. So I'm not. I'm sorry. You're okay. I'm glad you're. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's okay.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll let you continue speaking too.
Okay. And I did read that, Ms. Liu. Thank you. Mr. Gates, what is your thought on this?
I mean, he seems fairly cogent, Your Honor, today, and certainly more able to stay on point than he was at the last hearing. But I haven't had the more in-depth conversations that Ms. Liu and her office have, so I would ultimately have to.
I wasn't here for the plea, so I mean, I think this is probably maybe the first or second time I've seen Mr. McIntyre. I did not accept the plea. And were you there when he entered the plea, Ms. Liu?
No, I was not. Mr. McIntyre and I have met for the first time today.
Okay. And Mr. Gates, let me just see real quick. Give me a moment.
I'm excited to get. Actually, I'll get dialed into some resources here. I'll get some paperwork prior to being released. So I do have some concerns. I'd like to follow back up with Snohomish County and King County.
You do have a case. You're right. You do have a case.
And yeah, and I've been right, and I'm following up with that as far as the ACLU goes. However, I'm not going to get the ACLU exactly yet. I'm going to be very. I'll just be reserved and let you guys continue to your. Ma'am, I know your delegations or whatever, but I have. Very wrongful imprisonments. However, what happened, I did plead guilty to it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to, what's it called again? That was what the judge, I don't know if it was you or not, but I think it was. She wanted me to get, to follow up for my court date here before. And it was basically to follow up with resources.
Let me ask you a couple other questions.
With community health resources.
Where do you typically live?
I'm going to be getting down into some homeless shelters. I used to work as a case monitor for Volunteers of America. However, as of right now, I'm a little transient. I still have a month or so before my next court date with Snohomish County, and that's okay. I'm very well prepared, and I'm very much just eager to get out of this out of this jail cell, and to spend time with my self and my late wife.
You're right. You do have an upcoming court date in Snohomish County, and that is scheduled for August 3rd at 1:30.
Right. So I have contacts, and I like to maintain contact with you, just through my public defender or through the prosecutor, whatever. I'm just extremely eager to get out of this jail cell and to go get some breakfast. I have a couple dollars in my pocket.
Okay. That's okay. Let me talk. Based on my conversation here today, it seems, although he disputes the charge, he understands that it was his decision to plead guilty. He understands, once I prompted him, that he's here for sentencing with an expectation, I believe, that he would get out. It sounds like he wishes to engage in services without prompting. He knew he had a case in Snohomish County with a case coming up. His frustrations, as I said, are, understandable given his situation. At this point, I would see no reason to order a competency evaluation. I would be preparing. No, what I'm saying, I'm not going to order a competency evaluation.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. And I would like to proceed to sentencing on this matter. We can. Okay, hang on. Let me finish talking. I understand some of the issues that defense counsel may have had with him, and I see some of that here during my colloquy, but it doesn't rise to the level where I think it is necessary to do a competency evaluation. So I don't know if you want to go into a private room and talk to him about the sentencing, or whether we should just proceed to sentencing, Ms. Lewis.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, I think my client sounds like he wants to go ahead with that, so I think we're ready to do that.
Okay. Is there a judgment and sentence in there?
Yes, Your Honor, I just added one.
Great, thank you. And let me take a look here.
I'm sorry, I just have PTSD. I'm nonviolent and I don't hurt.
Okay, hang on. We're going to do this one piece at a time here. Let me first hear the recommendation of the city on this matter.
Well, Your Honor, the original recommendation was essentially for credit for the 12 days that he had served at that point, with a 24-month suspended sentence.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Your Honor, can we briefly mute him? I have quite a bit of information to go over.
Okay, if you can stay quiet for a minute, thank you. We'll get back with you in just a moment. Go ahead.
All right. So in addition to those, Your Honor, there was an abstain condition, an alcohol and drug evaluation and treatment, no contact with the alleged victim, and stay away from the Safeway at 21401 Pack Highway South. The sentencing was initially set over so that the court could get a PSI on Mr. McIntyre, and so that the city could run a triple I on him, because when he pleaded guilty, he had no Washington criminal history. However, since he pleaded guilty, or since this alleged incident, as Your Honor can see, he has racked up just a litany of charges in Washington, including a criminal mischief out of Everett from March of this year, for which he's already been convicted. Harassment also out of Everett from January of this year, for which he's also been convicted. Trespassing is second, and resisting arrest out of Snohomish County, for which he's already been convicted. Moreover, he has several cases outstanding in Everett, and his in-state criminal history runs to nearly 40 pages. In Arizona, he has arrests for drug possession in October 2020, aggravated assault on an officer and disorderly conduct from April 2020, another aggravated assault on an officer from March of 2020, and a misdemeanor arrest resisting, theft, possession of drug paraphernalia, and assault, combined with a felony robbery in January of 2020. None of those Arizona charges have dispositions listed yet. In Utah, he has arrests for possessing another's ID, disorderly conduct, 3 associated misdemeanor drug-related charges, all from October of 2018, with no dispo listed. In Georgia, he has a misdemeanor assault, disorderly, and obstruction case from December 2019, also no disposition listed. That is in warrant status. In New York, he had an arrest for assault 2, injuring a victim 65 years or older where the defendant is at least 10 years younger, and a harassment in the second degree for physical contact from August of 2019 with no dispo listed. He has another arrest for obstruction of circulation and harassment in the first from September 2019, also with no dispo. In California, he has a robbery from 2017 that's currently in warrant status, an arrest for trespassing, obstruction, exhibiting a deadly weapon, not a firearm, from 2018, for which he was convicted, theft, possession of drug paraphernalia, and obstruction from August of 2018, for which he was convicted. And one charge that's listed as ADW with force, don't know what that means, but it was a felony, and he was convicted. That was from May of 2022, and he was convicted on that. In Indiana, he has an arrest for battery and resisting arrest from May of 2019 with no dispo. He has active warrants in at least 3 separate jurisdictions in Georgia, 1 in California, and those were just the highlights from his criminal history, Your Honor. He has several other arrests for theft and a few driving offenses that all list no dispositions. Thank you.
Well, so then what was your recommendation based on all of that?
Well, we're kind of in the same position, Your Honor, especially given what defense counsel had mentioned, as well as Mr. McIntyre himself, kind of at a loss for what to do, lacking a PSI at this point. I don't know if it's...
Well, I suppose one thing that we could do, hang on, Officer, can you unmute him for just a moment?
I'm going to get resources. I'm very upset, and I am understanding that I am not in any way a threat to anyone, but I am going to get resources. I'm so sorry that I have very bad PTSD, and they put me in here on a very, it's okay. I'm sorry. Everything's okay. Go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry. He didn't know what to do. I am still okay. And they were already on board with letting me get released. And I am not going to skip out on getting pamphlets for resources here from the jail. I'm sorry that I'm really upset. I'm just excited to get out of the jail and, buy breakfast.
Give me a moment. Let me talk to the attorneys again, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. That's okay. Well, all of that certainly is concerning Mr. Gates.
I'm okay though, ma'am. I'm okay. I want to get help anyways. I want to go to get treatment for, my mental health.
Okay.
And I
give me one moment to talk to the attorneys, sir. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
No worries. Okay. So,
okay.
I would like for him to have some sort of a release plan, if that's possible. It's pretty clear based on his history and some of the issues that he has that he is in need of services. Just wondering whether, we don't have Pierre Kent on here. I don't know if Pierre Kent has had any contact with him. I think we could certainly send one of our support services specialists up to maybe conduct a PSI.
Would now be a good time to hear from defense on
Yes,
sentencing?
thank you.
Okay. And Your Honor, what I would suggest, I've been talking to Mr. McIntyre earlier today, and then I've also been listening to what he had to say when we're in court. I'm suggesting, Your Honor, I know the original recommendation was for a chemical dependency evaluation. What sounds like it would be more appropriate then, if the court is planning on sentencing today, is for a mental health evaluation for him to, because he's talking about wanting to get engaged with those services, and it sounds like it might be right on the nose of what he could use. And obviously, we're open to Pierre Kent coming to see him and trying to set him up with the services he needs to for reentry.
Yeah, I guess one of the things that well, first of all, I think given his actually quite lengthy history, the original recommendation was for credit for time served, correct?
Yes,
That's
Your Honor.
correct.
All right. Well, I think that, I mean, I do need some recommendation from the city, at least with respect to jail time. We can talk further about the conditions of his sentence, but was the city seeking to increase its recommendation or?
Yes, Your Honor, to 30 days. I believe at this point, though, he has credit for.
Well, here's my concern. I mean, my concern is that if I'm just not confident. I absolutely believe that he wants to engage with services. The degree to which he's going to be able to do that, I have concerns about. I don't know. I don't know if it's possible to have a mental health evaluation, which is separate, obviously, from a competency evaluation, but a mental health evaluation while he's in custody. I mean, we had, and let me correct myself. I did accept the plea on this, and he had an appointment. I had previously ordered a PSR, and he didn't show up for his appointment with support services. So what I'm wondering is maybe we'll have support services come and visit him in the jail, and then we will have see if Pierre Kent can visit him in the jail. And once we get that information, then we will proceed to sentencing. But if I were to release him pending sentencing, I really have serious concerns that he would not appear for a future court date or appointment with support services, or that he would perhaps commit a new offense, given that he has, clearly he is in need of services. Officer, can you unmute for a moment?
Ma'am, I'm sorry. I will follow up. I am wanting you to get released. I am not going to. You're not. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm just very upset, and I'm very, very traumatized by how they brought me here on a warrant. But I'm going to follow up with services here from Kent. Okay. So I'm really traumatized. But I'm really excited to get out of this jail. Okay, I'm not. It's okay. I'm sorry. It's okay.
Mr. McIntyre, the issue is that you do have a lengthy criminal history, so I can't decide an appropriate sentence until I have a little more information. And your history suggests that you're not going to appear. So we can.
I will appear. I will appear. I have an email that I am having difficulty keeping in touch with, but I will not be appearing here. Please just let me get released, ma'am. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to hurt anyone, and I promise you I will following through with the mental health provider. I swear to you. I'm not kidding. I will not be not following through. I also have my email, which is an active email. I am not kidding.
Okay, Mr. McIntyre.
I'm sorry. Okay. I know you can let me go, and I know you are going to, and they are just looking for reasons to imprison me further, but there is no reason, because I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm being dense. I just want to get some breakfast. I got a couple bucks in my pocket, and I just can't wait to get out of jail and get my breakfast. this. And I'm just me, you know, and I'm just sorry that there's no, okay, I just can't wait to get out of jail and just smoke cigarettes and eat breakfast and
Let me, okay, just a moment, sir. I do understand, Ms. Liu, why you were seeking a competency evaluation. It appeared to me that was not necessary. I guess one of the concerns I have is, now, I mean, I have more information now regarding his past history. I'm not sure what to do with this case because obviously I don't want him to be in custody any longer than he needs to be, but the court has serious concerns, public safety concerns, and I don't know whether if the court were to impose affirmative conditions, the extent to which he would be able to comply with that. So I guess, and I don't know whether in the context of a competency evaluation, they can determine the extent to which he would be amenable to that sort of thing. I guess my concerns are raised a little bit just given how upset he is, but on the other hand, I do understand why he would be upset.
Your Honor, could the court order the PSI, presuming it could be done by maybe Wednesday? We could have another hearing on Wednesday. The court would have the additional information from support services, and perhaps we could have them give the court additional information about their interactions with Mr. McIntyre during the PSI.
Okay, that sounds good. And then what I'll do then is, Ms. Liu, I will reserve, on the issue of your previous request, and if we need to readdress that at the next hearing. But let me call the court administrator for a brief moment. I just want to see if we're going to be able to get that done as quickly as we all hope. So give me just a moment.
Could do is the following Tuesday for a PSI.
To visit him?
Yes. So not next week, but the week after Tuesday. At the soonest, but that's not confirmed.
All right. I will set this over to, I see that he's upset. I understand, Mr. McIntyre, I really do. I'll set this over to the 28th. Marcella, are you there? Marcella from Peer Kent, are you? Yeah. Hi,
yeah, I'm here.
Marcella. So, do you think that you might be able to get up and see him sometime within the next 7 days?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then we will have our support services specialist do the PSI. Let's see. So I'm not sure what the bail was previously, but I'm going to impose a no bail hold pending the next court date. Officer, you can unmute him one more time.
How long do you want to hold me here when you can live the rest of your life as long as you want? And I am just saying, I'm excited.
Mr. McIntyre, Mr.
That's fine. Whatever. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
I understand that you're upset.
I will follow through with mental health services.
Okay.
You are not going to have any type of a crisis.
So let me tell you something. If you can calm down for just a moment, I understand that.
I'm so sorry. I'm just really traumatized, and
I appreciate that.
And I was going to be very, very merciful as far as just
okay. I hear you telling me that you want help, you want treatment. I hear you telling me
help, and I was going to. It's okay.
That you are frustrated and you want out of jail. I hear you loud.
Yes, I want out of jail. You were going to release me, and I was going to be very, very, very cool about things like following up with you because I'm still going to. I'm just really upset. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you had some kind of delusion that you thought you knew my late wife. Okay, no, I am very happily married, and I will be very much getting released from here within the next 7 days, is it? Is it how long do I have to wait to talk to a mental health provider here that can release me?
I'm going to.
I'm so sorry. It's like that. It's just
no. Hold on. Honestly, at this point, I think I need to order the. I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to have to order the. This is such a tough case. I'm sorry that I'm taking so long. I hate to order a competency evaluation when there's a chance, but I don't want to be back in this position at the next hearing. And I mean, like I said, I do understand that he's upset. However, I guess I do at this point have concerns regarding competency given his behavior here in court today. Would either side have an objection if I signed an evaluation? I think we can also, I mean, there's nothing, I think Pierre Kent can go and visit with him. I think that's a good idea. We can have, I mean, this is post-conviction, so unless you have an objection, Ms. Liu, we can certainly have support services visit with him as well. But
no objection from the city, Your Honor. As this hearing goes on, the city's concerns grow.
And defense would have no objection to a 1077 evaluation. I will note that if we do order one, there's also the OCRPs will also, there's an agency within Western State that always comes in and takes a
That's right, the
look.
Forensic Navigator?
Yep.
Okay, yes. Okay. Well, Mr. McIntyre, I was sincerely hoping that we could proceed with your sentencing today, but based on the course of this hearing, I do have some serious concerns. So I will sign the order, and I think, let's see, I'm going to add a few things to what you wrote, if you don't mind, Ms. Liu.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and sign this order. We'll set a return date for the 28th. All right, I have signed that order. And
I was already given a fucking wrongful arrest. I am going to.
Mr. McIntyre, I've signed the orders in your case.
The 28th? The 28th? You're trying to buy time.
If we get the evaluation back sooner, we're going to see you sooner. We've been
Okay,
averaging.
okay. Then,
We will put you on as soon as we have that.
okay,
As soon as we have that, okay?
There should be a mental health provider that should come here within.
Okay, and that's why Marcella from Pier Kent is going to come and see you in the jail and see what services you might be eligible for, okay?
Okay, and then, I'm sorry, and then I can get released. I'm very traumatized.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm very
We're going to
traumatized.
talk about that. We're going to talk about that at the next hearing, which may be,
Okay, but you don't have.
maybe earlier.
Oh,
Okay.
you're not-
And so that, Mr. McIntyre, that will conclude today's hearing. I understand you're upset, but we need to move on.
Well, I was just.
We can go ahead and
You're violating the laws of
the
democracy.
iPad there. Thank you.
Your Honor, real quick on the pretrial release on his, can you check the far left box where bail is put down? That one's not checked, but the no bail hold is checked.
Yeah, that's what I wanted, was no bail hold.
Yeah, just the far left box. Can you check that one under where like the PC box is? I just don't want.
Didn't I check that? Okay, hang on, let me see. Oh, I see. It's the one after it. Oh, well, that's confusing. Okay, then I'm gonna.
No, this the one just above that. No, you're right where it said the no bail hold.
Yeah.
Just under the PC checkbox, put in
that
check
one.
that one.
I
Yes,
see.
that one.
You know, I'm also going to put it down here. Okay. And officer, if you can hear me, this is Judge Leone. We've concluded Mr. McIntyre's case.
One 224428601, the people of the state of Michigan versus Raekwon Christopher Watts. Defendant is charged with one count of assault or assault and battery in each case. Today is the date set for review. Ms. Span, your appearance, please.
Hello, my name is Raekwon Watts. How you doing, Miss?
I didn't ask you your name yet. Ms. Span, your appearance, please.
Malika Span here on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Watts, who has stated his name for the record.
All right. So Mr. Watts has been returned to my courtroom because he's been kicked out of the specialty court program. I have been informed that Mr. Watts has been violated numerous times, that Mr. Watts refuses to go to treatment, that Mr. Watts continues to walk away from the program, and that he does not want to participate. Ms. Span?
Judge, that is correct. Mr. Watts has had several issues. I believe that the mental health court and that assessment would fit his circumstances much more so than the substance abuse program that he was in.
No, don't let Mr. Watts fool you. That ain't, Mr. Watts was in mental health treatment court. Mental health treatment court is a dual diagnosis court. Judge Holmes is the ultimate expert on specialty courts. Judge Holmes would never have Mr. Watts just somewhere in drug treatment court when he clearly has mental health issues. No, Mr. Watts has been kicked out of mental health treatment court, and he cannot go back. And he is here before this court now for revised sentencing because they have kicked him out of the program, and he cannot go back to sobriety court, to mental health court, to veterans court, to community court. He can't go back to none of the specialty courts because they're sick of Mr. Watts walking away and violating, having to be found, having to go to jail. Mr. Watts don't want help. Mr. Watts don't want help. Mr. Watts want to stay on drugs, and he want to stay with his mental health issues. He does not want any assistance. Now, another response, Ms. Fan?
Well, Mr. Watts would like to start his employment with Burger King. He states that he has had the interview and he looks to work and would like to be released on tether so he could do so.
Mr. Watts is going to get fired from that job on the second day because Mr. Watts is combative and not participating, and he keep walking away. And because he did not let Judge Holmes and her staff address his issues, that's why, and look at him, he getting ready to try to call himself on overtalk me, but I am the queen of not being overtalked. I'm the queen of not being overtalked. So we're not going to do that. I'm going to tell you my intention, and then I will allow you and maybe your client to have a response to my intention. It is my intention to revoke Mr. Watts' probation. I am going to sentence him on case number 224414001 to 93 days in the Wayne County Jail. Case number 224483401 to 93 days in the Wayne County Jail. Case number 224428601, 93 days in the Wayne County Jail. That is my intention. Ms. Spann, anything further?
Judge, I would just like to request that those run concurrently and he be given credit for any time served.
The 3 cases will run concurrently, and unless the law requires it, I'm not going to run them concurrently. But if the law requires it, then they going to run concurrently. So I guess I better find out. Mr. Watts, you can unmute. You can unmute.
Judge, I was trying to ask you. Yeah, I got a job interview on the way. And
you should have thought about that when you kept walking away from the program. You should have thought about that job interview when you kept walking away from the program.
I'm not done anything.
Your sentence was to go and participate in mental health treatment court. You have decided that you did not want to do that. Now, what would make me think? What would ever make me think that I was going to be able to do anything with you on probation when you clearly keep walking away from all of the help that we are trying to get you? So that job interview
I'm not on drugs. My daddy
that's why you were in the mental health court. That's why you
I know my daddy gave me a phone. I got my ID and social security.
Yeah, they told me that your father came up to the place and brought you a bicycle. They told me your father came up to the place and set a bicycle outside of the treatment place, and you got on the bicycle and rode away. Yeah, I know all about it, Mr. Watts. I know all about it. You ain't coming in here with nothing, no whatever. So anyway, court is going to send that is my sentence. I have not changed my mind. And then hopefully one day, Mr. Watts' father and whoever else is around him that is accommodating his refusal to get treatment, perhaps those people will stop enabling Mr. Watts to remain where he is. I think the father should be charged with something, but that's just me. But that's my order. I'm revoking probation. He is sentenced to 93 days on each count. I do understand that Judge Holmes at some point gave Mr. Watts 45 days in the Wayne County Jail. But that was for a violation. That was for a violation. Those 45 days do not count toward the 93. The 45 days do not count toward the 93. Look like he just knocked down the jail camera. They probably gonna come get him. And then he gonna have another charge. Cause he went inside. Did you see him jump up? And then look like he knocked out the jail camera. So the 45 days, he's not getting credit for the 45 days. But if he served any other time outside of the 45 days, then he can get credit for that time.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. I guess they're gonna have to log back Miss Terry on another camera because it looks like Mr. Watts broke their camera. That's what that looked like. Okay.